Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to discuss about another very important topic for Angular, that is constructor. So in this session, we will discuss what is constructor, why do we need constructor, and how we can create a constructor for our application. Okay, so these all things we are going to discuss in this particular session. But before we proceed further, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being we are just mainly focusing on how to create and use constructor for component. Okay, so let's start from the definition itself, like what exactly the term constructor is. So if someone asks you this question, you can simply say that the constructor is a special method that gets called automatically when a class or a component is created. Okay, so yes, this is the thing. Whenever you create any class or you create any component, at that time one function is automatically called, and that function is known as constructor, and usually we call it as a special function. Why special? Because this is the function that are not supposed to call manually. Okay, it will be automatically called whenever the class or component is created. Okay, now the question comes when this constructor will be called. So this is the first thing that runs. Okay, so when Angular creates a component, the constructor runs the first, even before shows up on the screen. Okay, so yes, this is the thing. Like suppose we have a constructor function where we are doing something, and there are some UI part also. So UI part will be populated later, but but the constructor things will be executed first, because this is the first thing that runs while constructor or class is created. Okay, now the question comes, okay, this thing is clear that this is a special function and this function is called first, right? But why do we need it? Why do we use it? So we use to set up the component. We use the constructor to set up the component. How? By setting the default values. Yes, in project you might need some default values, right? So that default values will be set inside this component. For preparing any data, like if you need any specific data for your program, for application, then we will use this constructor to prepare the data, and to inject services like data service or API. I know like you are not aware of the APIs and data services as of now, but it's fine. I'll let you know what is this when we will be discussing it later. But for now, just keep it in mind that it is used to inject the services as well. Okay, so overall you can say that this is the kind of stage of setup. Okay, so whenever we create a for example, like before a play starts, the stage is set, props, light and background, all those things are there, right? So that's what exactly the constructor does. So it set the stage before the component perform on the screen. Okay, so similarly, like if you are preparing for one exam, so what you will do, you will prepare, you will learn the content that comes under the syllabus, right? So those all preparation is done by constructor, and on the actual day of exam you will perform. So that is the UI part. You can relate it with UI part. Okay, so this is you can say the constructor is nothing but a special function that provides a stage for setting up the required data for the initiation of the class. Okay, now next thing is it is used for dependency injection. Yes, so later on when we will be discussing what is dependency injection, at that time we will be able to understand that yes, constructor is used to initialize the dependency injection. Now next thing is constructor is not used for the complex logic. Yes, this is true. Do not write the complex logic in this. Okay, instead of that we will use ngOnInit. I'll let you know in the next session what is ngOnInit, but for now just keep it in mind that keep the constructor simple. Don't do big operations like fetching data from a server inside a constructor. Okay, so avoid using these kind of complex logics. Okay, So I think theoretical wise we are good with this, like what exactly the constructor is, why do we use it, right? Now if I summarize this entire journey of constructor, so you can simply say that it is a class it is a TypeScript class constructor. Okay, it is used for dependency injection. It is the function that runs before any Angular lifecycle hook. Okay, we will tell we will discuss other functions also, like ngOnInit and all. So at that time we will again compare it, but just keep it in mind that it runs before. There is no DOM access to it, and here we avoid the logic that is complex. Okay, so we avoid heavy logic. It is used to initialize the class properties. It is called only once. Yes, this is one of the interview question. Okay, so sometime you might be asked how many times constructor is called. So it is called only one when the application is run. Okay, it cannot access the view child or input data, right? No Angular magic inside. Yes, this is also true. Like all those good features of Angular, we are not as we are not going to make it complex. That's why we avoid using it. Okay, so these are the all theoretical things regarding the constructor. Now let's see how we can create it and how we can debug the constructor. So for that we will simply go to this terminal, click on new terminal. Here we will write ngGC and component name is login and enter. It will take few seconds, and now you can see 4 files has been added. Now we will simply connect this login component with application. Okay, so for that just simply copy this part and also remember this name. Okay, so now you can go to app.component.ts. Here we will write login component, and now you can see this line has been added. Okay, now simply go to app.component.html. Here you can attach this thing, and that's it. Now we are ready with it. Okay, so let's run the application. So we will write here ng serve. So far we are just connecting it with the parent component. Okay, so let's see how it works. It is already there, so I'll choose Y because port is already used. Okay, so now you can see we have this thing, Angular by texture with login works. That means our component is successfully attached. Now we will see how to use constructor. So let me close this first. Actually there are so many terminals are already open, so let me kill the terminals first. Okay, fine. Let's go to app.component.html. Now here suppose you want to welcome all the user that are going to join your website. So what you can do here, you can simply write, let's say h3, and here we will write welcome, and here I want to show some name, for example Amit, but I want to make it dynamic. Every time there should be every time there would be different user, right? So according to the username it should be populated. So what we can do here to achieve this thing, we will create a constructor, because in constructor we know that it is used to initialize the basic information that we are going to use, right? So what we can do here, we can simply go to this app.component.ts file. Here we will create our constructor. So to create the constructor, just simply write here constructor, opening closing parenthesis, then curly braces, opening closing, and here we can initialize the value. So let's create the variable first. So I created the variable name string and initialized it with blank. Okay, now in this constructor what we will do, we will initialize this value. So what we can do, this dot name equal, here I can write Sharmit and save it. So what we are doing basically here, we are initializing this name value in constructor. Okay, now to use this thing, what we will do, we will simply go to login.html, not this, we will go to app.component.html. Here instead of writing name directly, we will use the curly braces, and here we can put the variable name. So whatever value is coming from that variable will be shown here. Okay, so let's run the application. ng serve -- open, enter. So let me rerun it. Y for new port. Okay, so now you can see here you can see here it is showing welcome Sharmit. But let's verify how constructor is called, because that is the main topic, right? We know how to print the values. So to understand the concept of constructor, let's take it in debug mode. So simply go to inspect. Here we will click on debug sources. Now you can select your file. So in app I will go for source, in source we will go for app, then we will go for app.component.ts. so here on constructor I'll set the breakpoint. Okay, so let me take the breakpoint here on constructor. Fine. Now we will refresh the application, and one by one I'll show you how it is working. Okay, so let's refresh it. So as of now you can see there is nothing on the UI. That means so far constructor is not, so far component is not showing anything on browser. Now we are on this line. Okay, so you can see name is assigned to this variable. Now take F10 for move. So this value is initialized. Okay, so this value is initialized, and still there is there is nothing on UI, right? That means constructor is called even before the component displays the data. Okay, now click proceed further. Step by step I am proceeding. So now you can see now it is coming in the UI part. It will display the text Angular by texture myth, then go for connection. Now it connected the, like here it will simply show the required information. So you can see login box is populated here, and after preparing it, it will show the welcome and welcome name. So now you can see here, you can see. So this is how it is working. Okay, so firstly it calls the constructor, and then remaining thing will be process. So that's why and we never call it this function, right? Nowhere we have called it. So that's the reason we call it as a special function, because it automatically calls it. If you want to check this on, like let's go to app.component.ts. Here along with this we can also use console.log. Okay, and here we can write constructor called, save it. Okay, let's go to this, refresh the application. So now you can see so far. Okay, let me check. So far it is not processed, so console is blank. Now press F10. Let's go to console. Step proceed. Let me rerun this application first. Okay, so let's close it, and here do clear. We have set constructor call. Now we will run it again. Ng serve -- open, enter, and let me rerun this. Now we will take this in debug, inspect, go to sources. Here we will go for sources, select the application and the file that we are using, app.component.ts. Here I will take debug and just simply refresh the page. Okay, so do we have anything, any value in console as of now? Let me check. Okay, it is freezed again. We need to wait. Okay, now you can see constructor called. Okay, so just even before showing anything on the UI, constructor, this console.log is processed, and now you can see the message is coming as constructor called. After that, one by one it will process all the things like initial, the value, and all the values is populated on the screen one by one. Okay, so this is how the constructor work. So in short, if someone asks you what is constructor, so you can simply say that constructor is a special function that automatically called whenever the class component is created. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.